and hopefully Marco will join us as well. So I'll start. It's been a busy day, and I've been running events and just taught my hacker culture class, and in that, three of the students said that they were really excited about trying to figure out ways to get more people using open source software and replacing corporate tools with them. So I am coming into this feeling really energized that my 20-year-old students are wishing that the kind of thing we want to build existed.
Great.
Great. And just introduce yourself in a sentence for the people that may not know you.
Okay, I'm Nathan Schneider. I teach at University of Colorado Boulder. I'm a journalist, and this stuff is awesome.
All right, and we're having an organizational meeting today for the CoCloud Cooperative, growing out of the Internet of Ownership Cooperative. And we have a user coming in on the phone.
Hi there.
Is that Marco?
Michael Siegman? Yeah, Michael Siegman.
Okay, great. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, Michael.
Great. So, Michael, we're just getting started here. And if you can mute your phone when you're not speaking, that would be
sure.
Good. Well, I'm okay. I guess we're just going through introductions. You want to start, Radu?
Okay. My name is Radu Seserman. I'm a programmer, but I have a business experience and quite interested to have this project succeed, to be able to really expand beyond the one cooperative. But first things first. First step is to create a sustainable cooperative and then move on. And I try to help anywhere I can.
Awesome. Yeah, you've been pretty active, and we really appreciate all you're doing. Tim?
Hi, I'm Tim McCormick. I'm in the Bay Area, but currently in Portland. And I'm oops, I've lost the video here. Let me pull that back. And I'm a product developer and product manager, particularly with a background in software for libraries and electronic publishing. And especially interested in sort of new forms of work organization and project organization.
Awesome. Chelsea?
Taking myself off of mute. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So you guys caught me at my lunch. I've also been running around today. For those of you that don't know me, my work is primarily, at least in the last few years, been in the sharing economy. So I wrote a book about the sharing economy, and I run around talking about that, among other things like how we might be able to share value and distribute it. So as a part of that, I created a Facebook group called Rise of the Digital Cooperative. And around that time, Nathan and I reconnected and started talking about platform cooperatives and everything that's going on in that nature. And we've kind of kept in touch. And I'm excited about this, especially right now. And we're seeing social media accounts being shut down and a lot of kind of people just being muffled and not allowed to speak in a way that promotes freedom. I think using open source software is definitely a good start in that. And I'm also excited about maybe a more long-term vision of like, how do we own our own identity, just period. So that's me. Thanks.
Thanks. And who do we have on the phone?
I'm Michael Siegman. I'm still trying to get into the Zoom. I'll see if I can get that to work. Yeah, I'm a psychologist by training and got into technology design, user experience, usability, and so forth. And now there's some of you may know there's an emerging field called positive computing, mostly in the academic world, but basic idea of thinking about how technology can help people to actually flourish psychologically, not only just be easy to use and have a positive user experience, but actually be psychologically helpful. And of course, the other side of the coin of that is that it can also be actively psychologically unhelpful. And so what I'm motivated to do is to try and help people flourish in genuine ways and not in ways that are just kind of people trying to use other people in the guise of helping them. And so the idea of user ownership of technology platforms is extremely important to me. So that's basically why I'm here and enthusiastic about this.
Can you say the first part of that?
I'm based in Colorado, by the way. What's that?
Can you say the first part of that again? What's it called? What kind of business? Well,
positive computing.
Positive computing. Okay.
There's a book. There's a very good book called Positive Computing, and yeah, if anyone wants, I could post a reference to that on the group. I'm in Louisville, right next to Boulder.
Oh, great! We should connect. Yes.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I like the way you just described that. That sounds amazing. Positive.
It's a sort of play on positive psychology,
Right.
which is has emerged in the last decade or so, decade and a half.
Great.
Psychology focused on flourishing rather than on illness and disorder and stuff.
Great. Jim, do you want to round it out?
Yeah. I'm Jim Whitescarver, and I'm retired in Florida. I did 25 years of research and development at New Jersey Institute of Technology on group systems and cooperative work. And then we lost funding, and I worked in industry and banking, travel, and the last 5 years, I was a biometric engineer developing biometric authentication systems for Shannon Research Labs at AT&T. Now I found this group of awesome people who have pretty much, very much inline objectives with myself. I started an effort called Free Trust, which gained a lot of steam. We got some academics involved in things and sort of faded out. And then I've been active in the scenario community, building a secure private computing platform and attention economy, where the currency is designed to reward the creators and the curators and the users of the system. That had a split. They had a major catastrophe, and the two groups split. It's kind of like stalled us. And we started an organization called divvydow.org, where we're trying to develop the decentralized distributed user agent for the human being with aggregated identity that they use everywhere, and fully distributed disintermediated applications, which will eventually go onto our chain, which is my other major effort at this point. I've been an organizer, participant in developing the R-Chain Co-op, which is a revolutionary platform where, with the social contracting mechanism, the whole network of R-Chain nodes means everybody's computer is like one world computer that everyone shared, that's proven to operate according to your rules in terms of privacy, in terms of interactions with people, and transactions, whatever. So
wait, can we stop there for a second? Isn't that what the internet kind of is now? Or is that not true?
Well, because, you know, I mean, you connect to something, you don't even know if you're connecting to the right thing. You don't know what programs it's running. You don't know how they've been modified. This is and because in a distributed network, things can happen in any order. There's a lot of different ways things can come out. And I don't know if you're familiar with the DAO hack and other things. People, you know, programming for decentralized networks is a new model that's different from traditional programming. It's based on process calculus and you know, the pi calculus for communicating asynchronous processes, and now the rho calculus, which is for mobile asynchronous communicating processes. And its formal mathematical system, it's sort of like the
Jim, maybe we should move on to the CoCloud.
Yeah, we can talk about this all the time. Definitely stop by an R-Chain Hangout and ask questions. It's very exciting, and it's actually a year or two away before it's commercial. So in the meantime, we're using the tools we have today to build our communities.
Great, thank you. And it sounds like somebody else just arrived. Is that Marco? Someone else just come in?
Michael came in. Again, he's trying to get his audio working, I guess. He's trying to get. Can you hear me?
Yes. This is Marco?
Yes, this is Marco.
Okay, great. Can you just introduce yourself to the group briefly?
I hear you very.
Yeah. Okay, we're having trouble with Marco. All right. Well, let's just proceed and hope that he can figure out a way to get back in. So Radu suggested a agenda starting with thinking about our decision-making process and then moving to some of the questions around managing contributions and web design and product development. I wonder if we can go ahead and start talking through some of those things. But I wonder if it might be a good idea to, if anybody just wants to report on particular things that they've been doing that would be worth hearing about how we're moving this forward.
Yeah, let me just share the document here. And I put the document link in the chat. It's a collaborative document. So anybody can suggest changes and make comments in it. Now what I did was I added reports here and an agenda in front of what Tim's put in here. We can modify this as any way that we want. I had the report items coming first, which is usually what we do in a divvy process, so that people can leave the meeting after they're done their report.
Okay, yeah. We had a separate conversation about agenda on the. Oh yeah, this sounds good. Let's just go with this.
Okay, this is the agenda that Tim put in. And so we can start there.
Okay, great. Yeah, let's start with those report backs.
We'll start with the reports.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So Scrum style supports are designed to be just very quickly where we are, what the progress was, what the problems are, and what the plan is. And normally we would review the task board while we're at it, but I think everything on the task board is in here.
Okay, great. Tim, do you want to go for the update on the domain name registration?
Sure. So it's pretty, we set up an account at domains.coop, which is kind of, is the registrar that seems to really focus on co-ops. And we got a discount rate of $74. And I set up an account, and the login information for that and every other account, by the way, is in secure info doc in Sandstorm, in case anyone else needs to follow up with it or whatever. And it basically the domain CoCloud.coop is sort of sitting in the order shopping basket ready to go, and just waiting for payment. So that's the only thing, was we need to just decide how to pay, and then once it's paid, then the information can be put in, like the name, address, pointing it to the web server, etc.
I said I'll make that payment, but I'm not sure where do I have to go to make the payment.
Yeah, I can direct you. I think
send me a link or something after the meeting.
Sure. So you'll need to log in at domains.coop, and they do PayPal or credit card. So, yeah, but I can direct you. So that's the domain, and then the other thing is Open Collective. So we now have an account up there which is live, which is actually sort of like our website or homepage that we have so far. That's the public face that we have currently. And so it has a little bit of text on there, which is just from what I entered when I was signing up, but it could use some like editing and expanding. And
wait,
I'm hoping,
where is this?
This is, are you familiar with Open Collective? It's, no? Okay. It's a new venture that a couple of people have started. One of them is, well, you may know some of the people. And basically the idea is to support what they call collectives, which is like any voluntary association of people that have some reason to raise money together, and aiming to create sort of like a global platform for it. And so basically they take 10% of whatever is donated, and what they provide is saving you the trouble of setting up a bank account or finding a fiscal sponsor. And they also have like a platform to help you manage expenses in terms of showing a budget and submitting expenses to them.
Wow.
And so for us,
10%
it's like, for us, it's a way to avoid needing a incorporation for a while. And I think also potentially like a fundraising publicity channel.
Okay, so it's like a crowdfunding mechanism with things for a collective on it.
Right. It's like a crowdfunding, but it's oriented to like an ongoing organization with a monthly subscription rather than a one-time Kickstarter type thing.
Are they steadfast on this 10%? Because 10% is kind of high.
Yeah, I agree. They're pretty new, so they're like in beta practically. There's no sign that they're negotiating or anything. Maybe it's possible.
My question there is, if they pay for us or they give us money, what tax obligations do we have? Do they issue any 1099 form, or how those money, do we have to declare those money as personal income?
Right. I don't know.
That's very important, because, as I guess everybody knows, the biggest thing for the government is to hide money. So if anybody receives some money, it has to be declared, and that's to me it's not clear yet how they manage this.
Right.
I believe
I like it clearly, and then it'd be good if they consider us like a division or something, and we don't have to report anything because they do all the reporting and all the taxes. But still, we need to be very clear, because otherwise, don't forget, Al Capone got in jail for money, not for crimes.
Right. Right. Yeah, I agree. So we'll look into it more.
Yeah, I believe they take care of almost all the financial stuff. for us. I have to look it up exactly. But they also have the sponsors and who provide matching funds for donations. And I don't know exactly how that works, but that can be a way to leverage funding.
Right. So I think there's like an immediate problem it may solve of how to collect funds and have a structure without having our own bank account. I think there are also some kind of larger possibilities. And this is something I suggested to Pia Mancini, who's one of the founders, is that currently they have sort of an open source project orientation. A lot of their projects are open source projects. And they have like a fund called the Open Source Collective. And I think the idea there is that if you're a general supporter of open source projects, you can just donate to that fund and they allocate it among their projects, right? And so I suggested to Pia, well, how about a pooled fund or funding pool and category that's for cooperatives, you know, just like you have for open source. And so, and she seemed to like that idea. And I know she's speaking next month at Open Co-op Conference. So the sort of blue sky possibility there is that we set in motion a substantial kind of pooled investment, well, not investment, but donor fund that would go maybe partly to us or other co-ops. So, but that's kind of speculative, but
yes,
I think interesting
I mean,
to explore.
any crowd funding platform will do the same thing. So I guess it's, yeah, hopefully it will help, but that's.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we're going to try to keep these report backs quick, but you know, this is what we're experimenting with right now, and then we'll take it from here. Next is questions about CoMaker. I mean, I guess first CoMakery, or should we skip that for now? Is there anything to report?
There's not much to report, really. I have sort of an occasional conversation with Noah Thorpe.
Yeah.
And I think probably it should just be part of the conversation about how to do contribution tracking.
Right.
Because it's just sort of one of the possible ways we could do it.
Yeah, that sounds great. It sounds like we still have a few options there and a few things to explore. How about Expose Me Safely? Jim?
Yeah. Okay. I guess everybody got the document link here for the agenda. If we look at the status here, just quickly, we have a meeting, a working session scheduled Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. If anybody wants to join that, they can with us. I met with Purdue, and we went through the installation and the installation of Sandstorm on my machine. And you know, this is the whole roadmap for the development of the product here. And basically, we can install it with one command. What I have here is I have hello. I have an instance of VirtualBox running on the machine, where I have Ubuntu stored on my running on my Windows 10 machine, and within that I have Sandstorm running, and then the second command exposes that on the cloud, and so with two commands, basically, well, there has to be some setup here. We have to set up the domain, we have to set up an account, a server account. But then with a single command here, you can expose your local system safely on the net in this case running Sandstorm, could be running anything. So you really have a CoCloud, cooperative cloud made up of people's machines, which they have many people have a lot of unused resources on their machine. Okay, and I tried to set this up to go to cloud.ioo.coop. Unfortunately, that wasn't set up properly, and does not. So I set up another address, which is cocloud.divvydow.org, and I was able to access my server, but there was some issues here. You have to set up a couple of DNS records here to make it work, and you have to configure. I had to change the name of the server in the Sandstorm configuration file, but it's pretty simple.
Okay. Sounds like some great progress, and I guess now the next step is to maybe we should. I mean, maybe we shouldn't start running. We could or we couldn't expose this to CoCloud.coop. I don't know if we feel like we want to keep it a little more hidden for now or what, but maybe we should just start setting it up there and playing.
Well, the version running on my laptop is really set up to be a development version.
Yeah.
So that we can try out experimental plugins and we can make changes and things like that. It's not meant to be our operational version. We need a lot. We need a lot of. We need more DevOps people in order to really have a commercial service that we're running.
Yeah, of course. The other and Marco, I think is on the call now here, so maybe he can chime in too. But I also wanted to ask about whether you experimented with the Sandstorm for Work trial. We had a thread about that, and it looks like we'll be able to access that for free by the time the trial is over.
Yeah, at this point, I couldn't find anything that it does that we need, but your mileage.
The things that it does seem important is the custom login management. That would enable us to have a meta login that would encompass both Sandstorm and any other services that we were to use, like an OpenID system.
Yeah, if we had a community if we had a login, then we could use the work. But we need to make a login for ourselves first. Then we can hook that up with Sandstorm. So the order that things need to be done is we need to decide on a login that we're going to use, and I put this in the in there. But once we have a login, we can connect to it. Then we can use for work. If we get for work and we don't have a login, I don't think it buys us anything. But I could be wrong. It's we certainly.
Well, I just think it should be a priority to have a separate login than just the Sandstorm. Yeah. It seems to me like maybe we should work on that login issue first, and then get Sandstorm. That's just my sensation.
We're not talking about like Facebook login or Google login. We're just talking about like an account login, right?
Using something like OpenID to create a kind of umbrella login that we could use for Sandstorm, but also other outside services that we might offer.
But like a private one, not one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So on that, one question I had was,
when we want a login provider that we can add accounts to, and that gives them access to Sandstorm. Okay, we don't want people with some random OpenID coming in.
Right. Agreed.
But back to the logging the contributions. I think people should start to log the time they spend on this project. I mean, when
Sure.
else should we start logging contributions? And it's not for myself, because I said at the beginning I don't really expect to get anything back as far as monetary, but for those that do want more, or there is, and I guess that will be simple to go to the hours spent should be fairly easy, and no measurement is very precise. So to me, the simpler the method, the better for everybody to do something. And over time, will accumulate and it can be transformed or translated into another tracking currency or so. But at least to have a base of something.
Yeah, we've used timesheets for some of the Divi projects, and I guess investigating, what good time tracking open source software there is would be good, and it may be a good target for us to integrate that with Sandstorm as a cooperative effort.
I will start, I'm sorry to interrupt, I will start with a spreadsheet. I mean, everybody puts their time in there, and that spreadsheet could be used as a feed into different software and see how it works and refine more, but at least you have some base data to work with and to see if the tracking, the more sophisticated tracking does what the group wants.
Yeah, time tracking with the spreadsheet is exactly how we've done it with Divi before.
Yeah, why don't we just create an EtherCalc page in our Sandstorm collection, and we start using that for tracking time. And maybe can we associate that with projects on the because over time we want to make sure that the time that's being spent isn't just totally self-determined, but is projects that we've all that we're backing as an organization.
So
if people could add some
Go ahead,
notes.
Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea is, sorry.
So two things. One, I learned about something called slicingpie.com in New Zealand from someone who does a bunch of cooperative stuff. And another thing that I just started using yesterday actually is tsheets.com. And just as a productivity tool, it's amazing. Just like knowing what you're doing and what project area you're in and clicking into a project and out of a project, because you might spend 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever. And this tracks all of your time. And I believe you can do it with Teams too. And it's not a tool that really messes up your flow or that you kind of have to look for. Like you can just have it in your browser and click in and click out. And it might actually help all of us be more productive in all of our lives. So I've never found a time tracking tool that I like more.
Can you say the name of that again?
tsheets.com. And then
just like it sounds?
Yeah. T as in Tom. And then
Okay.
Slicing Pie is more of like an equity division tool based on time and effort.
But I guess the drawback to that is that you have to work on your computer, so you cannot track time that is not what you are doing outside of your computer.
Well, no, that's not true, because you can actually log time manually also through it. I've done that too, because I found myself doing something this morning and I was like, oh, I want to track that too. So that's definitely a possibility as well. I don't know if they have an app, but I would assume they would. It's pretty robust.
Yeah, if people could help add these notes to the document, I would appreciate it. What was the name of that?
T-sheets.
Does somebody want to put that in, or
yeah, I'll put that in.
Yeah. So to Nathan's point about associating with projects, one way that can be done and was suggested already in discussion is that tasks are created in, what is it called? The CoCloud Task Tracker, which is another Sandstorm app. It's similar to Trello, if anyone has used that, which is a common tool. And basically, it's like Post-it notes, where you create a little note for a task and it moves across columns as it gets approved or done. And I don't know if it does it, but the way we could track is just when a task is created, it has a title or maybe even like a code number, and then you reference that when logging hours, something like that. And also, I am mindful of like not introducing new tools if possible, because it needs to be pretty agile, or like people will tend not to use it. But on the other hand, maybe it's important. There's something else that thanks Jim for bringing that up. It's a style of task management which is called a Kanban board. And this is an example, Trello is an example. And it's often actually done with physical Post-its also. But there's another feature or function which this may have, which might be really useful, is we were talking about the idea of a way that people can like propose or request tasks, and then sort of someone else has to say, yeah, that needs doing. And then they can like proceed with it and log the hours. And that would be, of course, just to have a little bit of a check or review, so people aren't just like completely making up work that may or not matter. So there's kind of an obvious way to do that with Weekend, is you have a column or list, which is something like proposed tasks. And then for it to go into the next column, someone other than the person who created the task has to move it over into the next column, which might be like ready to go or something.
Okay, but I guess, I mean, we agree. And then what I'm trying to, when I set up this meeting, was more to become concrete. Yes, this is going to be the way. Who's the person to move it, or what's the rule to do this? And probably now is the time to decide if a task is there. We vote, and 70% of the people say yes, it can be moved over, or any other rule. But let's decide on this so we can add tasks and start to working on them, not just theorize them.
Sure.
I think if we do this on a task-by-task basis, we're just going to get bogged down by management of tasks. Maybe we can do it by sub-project, if that's what we mean by task. Because at least the way that I understand that Trello works, and looks like this works, is it's kind of like little grains or pieces of what needs to be done versus the thing that needs to be done.
I think we definitely need to have managers that can make decisions, and if they see something here in the backlog, like draft up a landing page for CoApp. Okay, that's a task that we can assign to somebody. Okay, now the idea is that if we have managers, let's say Nathan's a manager and Don's a manager, if two managers say go ahead, that means that this project is probably okay. Now we have a complete log of what's done here, so if we disagree with what the managers have said or done, we can add comments and raise issues here, and people will get alerts if they're in here, or people that are interested in it that are not part of it can set watch in here. They can change the dates. They can add labels, like if it's if they want to make it red for urgent or whatever. We can put words in here for what the different colors mean.
Yeah, I guess I'm just responding to like the sort of top-down management structure approach in general. I mean, if that's the way that everybody wants to move forward, I'll go with it. But I feel like if we're talking about creating something new and we're all kind of leaders in our own right, like a do-ocracy or a whole-ocracy or something where it's not like I have to put a thing in to be approved before I could do a thing. It's more like, this is your area, and these are the things that live in your area. Like, let's talk about it before we do it, and then let's just go freaking do it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think there's kind of a balance to be found, because like at one extreme, you could imagine like a chaos where people are just kind of doing whatever, and it's like racking up hours unsustainably. And that would be like the extreme in one direction. And the other extreme is like it's completely top down, and everyone is like sitting around waiting for the chief to prove that. And it's sort of like we want to find the right balance, and
actually
you can tune it
for
however
this
you want.
group.
Yeah.
for this group, I think it's a small group and everybody is pretty responsible. So I'm not sure if we need the top-down managerial structure at this time. Maybe if the group grows and things get more involved, yes. But for now, and I'm always towards more a democratic approach, and because that's my main reason to go into the co-ops and help build the community is to allow everybody to participate and be involved in. If we become this enterprise, or say it will be a partnership or can be any structure, then you are more, somebody will give the orders. But at least for now, people can assume tasks, and yet there are different tasks could be a task is very generic and varies so much from administrative, very little things to be done, to projects and strategic tasks. So we cannot put everything into one bucket, but I think we can trust each other more at this.
Yeah, I like that. I like the idea of open communication and trusting each other over needing to rule one another. And I know that that's not like a common model that we live by, but I think it's definitely possible, especially with this group who's obviously thought a lot about what that might look like.
Yeah, most of these flat organizations or the structures that come out, holacracy is a good structure, but the basic idea is you need a small management group that can make decisions quickly. And we as directors have to, choose among ourselves. We trust each other. Otherwise we wouldn't be here. I mean, trust, it takes a lifetime to build and a second to lose. And, we're here because we're on the same page and we have the same values and the same direction. If groups more, the ideal group size is 4. If you have, as long as you have less than 5 managers or 5 or fewer managers, they can act pretty much with the same degree of effectiveness as a hierarchical organization. And the directors oversee that management group. So what the management group does is transparent to the directors, and they can say, hey, what's going on here? Why are we doing this? They can bring it to a larger group. Okay, but not everything has to go to a larger group. And that way the organization can be agile. And, in the Divi Cooperative, it's set up as a managed, it's set up as a managed LLC. The partners are the co-op members, so to speak. And you can have a lot of partners, but it's managed. So the partners choose the managers who handle all the day-to-day stuff, and they approve projects, and they develop the strategy. They help. They manage themselves. So we have autonomy at every level.
I think we're both right here. We're in a small enough group, and we're working on that kind of volunteer basis at this point, and we're moving towards formalizing that. And at this point, I think we're doing a good job of taking on tasks and doing it in a kind of role-based way. So I think Jim's right that as the numbers increase, that there's be a need to streamline that a bit and to formalize a bit more. But we want to keep this kind of participatory ethic at the heart of that. And I've been really impressed by the different kinds of solutions that people have been proposing for how to do that. So I think we're going to be coming up with some creative examples. One thing that I think is important to focus on now is just like being in agreement about the kind of group we are right now. For instance, how we might bring other people in, and who has access to what. And at this point, I think we're starting to crystallize to the point where, I think we do need to be a bit more careful about who comes in and just justifying additions. For instance, I'm having a call with Myra Sutton at Charitable who may be interested in getting involved. At what level, do we bring people in, and how are we organizing as we are right now.
Yeah, it seems to me that on the specific question of the tasks, the way to go is to use that Kanban board, and have it start out that, you know, that anyone in the, any team member, shall we say, which is us, can initiate and move a task. And then we can see how it goes. If there's some reason that doesn't work well, then we can have feedback or rethink it. But it seems like that's the default to do. And then the larger...
The main thing is that in order for it to be a cooperative thing, there has to be two people. So the thing is that in the Kanban, once you have two people in the task, one may be managing or advising or looking over the shoulder, the other one doing it. They both think it's a good idea. We trust each other. And it's not an individual thing because two of us want to do it. Okay, that's cooperation. And what we want to do is encourage cooperative activities more than as much as individual activities. Obviously, individual things have to be done. That's the way people are used to working. But we're trying to transcend that and work with the collective intelligence. And two heads are better than one. And when people work together and they have working sessions together, it's monkey see, monkey do. They learn much faster than trying to figure out things by themselves. If everybody has to try to figure out everything themselves, they're not going to be effective. But if we transfer the knowledge through working sessions, like screen sharing.
I think we should just try it. I think we should just start one way and then see if it works. You know, and start it in the simplest way, which is just a person can put up a task and do it. And then we just do that for a week and see if it's causing any problem, right? I mean, anything else would be a little more complicated. Yeah, Chelsea. You're on mute still, Chelsea.
I'm just agreeing. That's my, yeah, let's do that.
Okay, and then I think then there's, I think it's, then there's the slightly larger question of not just like, how does a task get assigned, but what's the larger structure? And this is the kind of the bylaws discussion that Jim put up a document with my initial suggestion, Radu's suggestion, and then I subsequently have pointed to snowdrift.coop, which I think has, is kind of a, perhaps somewhere in the middle or mixes the elements. And that seems to me crucial for us to sort of grow from now on. Because right now, this is a flat organization in the sense that like anyone who asks is joining Lumio. And so, and there's some kind of notion that any paying member of our service would be a member. So if this goes at all according to plan, there would be many, many more people like us. And we probably don't want every new person joining to be of equal vote on every single thing, because that wouldn't make sense. So to me, the question is like, what's the simplest but workable way to establish like a team or team members and move forward?
I guess one to the tasks. I support what Jim was saying with 1-2 people. Should be at least 2 people on any task. Of course, at this time we are not talking to assign tasks to people, but rather voluntarily self-assigning tasks or volunteering for tasks. But it's important to have more people on a task to know what's happening, and if one, for some reason, is not available, decides to leave or get sick or on vacation, there is somebody else as a backup there. At least the cooperation of it, the operational part of it, it's good to have multiple people. Also, you said how to bring the people in and give them the right to vote. That's I hope that today we could decide, something on that nature. But just if we start recording the time, the contribution in itself could be a measure of how much you vote or when you can start voting, depending on the type of contribution you had. And
right.
And that will move us in that direction. On the bylaws, I'm not sure at this moment if we need the bylaws, because to me, what we should focus more and foremost is the product that will make this enterprise viable. I mean, we can set up structure, managerial structure, bylaws, everything else, you know, incorporate, and it's like an empty house that's nothing lives in it. We have that living thing, the software, the service, then we can add to it everything else administratively that we need. For now, that's to be shared hack. If we want to have some formal agreement, anybody can sign on a few rules if it's necessary, but
So, quick question.
By the way, I would just want to welcome Elise, who just joined. Hi, Elise.
Oh, good. Welcome.
Quick question. Is there anything that we need, like, in the immediate in terms of, like, skills or whatever that we don't have? Sysadmins. Okay.
Well, we may have them, but it's not confirmed who's doing it. You know, it's an important task.
I think as far as like just adding anyone who's interested at any point, that could get chaotic really fast. So I think that should probably be decided pretty quickly. And then the other layers, I guess, would spring from that too.
What was the last thing you said?
I'm just thinking like the other layers in terms of like how long-term management would work for like the various levels and layers of membership or cooperation would work. Like say someone, you know, joins the network or starts using the tool. Like, are they going to be, obviously, like, I don't think they're going to be in all the groups that we're in, or maybe they will be. I don't know. That's a decision to be made. But I guess I'm suggesting that we don't just like endlessly add people to the project management team as it is now, so that we can move forward and get somewhere before we're like adding people and adding another social layer.
Yeah,
right.
I think, you know, we have these proposed people put in, and in the document here, you can, if you're an editor, you choose testing mode, and then you can say, well, I think this guy should come out, and you can hit the delete key, and you can put a comment, he's no good.
Okay, so
and we can,
yeah,
and then somebody with one of the managers who has edit permissions can go in and accept or reject the suggestion, and people can discuss it in the document. It's a very powerful collaborative tool that we can use to work independently but together.
Right.
And, you know, so I probably should move this. I put this in the bylaws draft document because the question was raised there about the initial board. And so as we approve people for the initial board, then those board members can choose who they want the managers to be, which should be a smaller team. In terms of whether we want to have a lot of directors, I think it really depends on the qualifications of the directors. As long as we work in small teams, rather than as a whole board, we can be very effective. The more people, the worse the decisions. Okay, this is why most of these cooperatives and flat architecture systems fail. The structure can be fluid, but we should have teams for everything, and there has to be accountability. Is anybody going to be who's going to be looking into co-makery? Does anyone want to look at that, or do we leave that blank? Does anyone want to look into time tracking?
Right. So Tim, a couple observations. So first of all, on like who is a member generally, it seems like it's very clear from our purpose and all of discussions that this is like a member co-op where all users of the service are members. So that seems pretty clear that, you know, our goal is to sign up people and make them members and co-determiners.
Right.
But obviously that has to be something fairly basic. It has to be, what I'm seeing in other organizations' bylaws is sort of like any person who meets requirements and pays 2 months of dues is called a member. It's something like that, and that's typical.
Right.
And that's a pretty low boundary. We're obviously not going to be doing like background checks or anything.
Yeah.
We're probably even meeting these people.
This is for our directors.
Right. And so there's that. And then it seems fairly clear that there's some set of roles or responsibilities that you wouldn't want to just distribute equally among every single person who paid their dues this month. Right. So there's that. And I think it's useful to look at other organizations that are relatively new and fluid like us and look at what they did. And if you look at Snowdrift, for example, they basically just have two classes of people. There's team members and general members. And general members is like everyone who signed in or used the service. And team members are like the starting group of people, right? And it's sort of like directors, but it's simpler because it's just kind of like the core team. And I think to me that kind of corresponds to what early stage organizations do in general. They've got a group of people, and it's not obvious to me that it makes sense to distinguish between directors and managers. I mean, it's just us, like it's just the 6 people here, right? So
I think we have a couple of stages forming, right? Where there's this initial stage that we're working on, and I think in that distinction between general members and team is really good. And you know, to me, the question about bounding and membership is about the team. You know, how many people do we want to bring on, and let's be very careful about who we do bring on. And then we work toward a more complex incorporated bylaws that's more aspirational, that we're aiming to adopt whatever it will take us to really get off the ground. And I've appreciated the ways in which you've been bringing in proposals for both of those stages, and we should distinguish between those stages. One that's very informal and fluid and allows for creativity, and one that is more formal and allows for a larger organization.
right. And there are ways to do that organically. So what I see from looking at Snowdrift or Fair Shares or other things is, let's take Snowdrift because I was just looking at it. So there's initial directors or team members, which are also directors in the legal sense. And so basically, like a month ago, they went and filed incorporation papers and wrote down who are the directors, and they appear to be like the 3 founders of the group. And then there's a mechanism specified in the bylaws that like up to this many additional people can be appointed, and a founder or team member has a term of so long, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and they can run for re-election. So that sort of naturally establishes, all right, well, we're in an initial phase where like the initial directors are in their term, and they could run to continue, but they have to be voted on by the members in 2 years or something. It's pretty simple.
Yes, I mean, definitely we're going to get there. But can we kind of agree? So I suggest everybody goes and put the task they think our project needs. They want to do them, or somebody else should be able to do them, but they are necessary to the task. And then how do we move to the next step? What's the selection process, the approval process for each task to somebody start to work on it and, you know, maybe log time for it? How shall we do it? Shall we have a meeting? Shall we put a...
In my experience, there's one mechanism which is hardly ever used that is very, very effective, and it's called consensus by default. So when I put a task into the backlog and nobody approves it, nobody says anything, after a certain time period, I can do it. But that doesn't mean I'm going to get paid for it necessarily. But the thing is that in other words, if we go back to the list of people who were invited here today, okay, in the bylaws document where we have them listed, if nobody has any objection to any of these things, that's a consensus by default. So, you know,
Right.
it's responsibility of the people that want to be directors, either take their name out of here if they don't want to be a director, or to suggest that that maybe we choose, you know, we can choose from this list a certain number of directors to start with, or we could let everyone be. The simplest way for us to get things done most effectively is to say, this is the list that's been proposed. I didn't propose the list. I think Tim proposed the list. I see no problem with it. So let's run with it. Why waste a lot of time going through a process of decision process when we all could be working on getting stuff done? Unless somebody has an objection to the list, this is the list of directors. If you want to take someone out, just cross them out. You know, I don't know.
And I think the objection was a little wider. It was just that the director's concept was some people didn't feel like it was helpful to have, given the group that we have right now, to have some people who are directors and some people who are just working on stuff.
Well, if you feel that, you know, that some people are directors and some people are workers, just put that, add that to the document, make the markups. Let's just do it. You know, we trust each other. You know, put your comments, put your changes in here. This is your cooperative. Make it what it is. This is where the, you know, let's just do it right here in place. Make it be what we want to be.
I would suggest also those that, you know, the list is complete. People should also take action if they want to be a director to, let's say, put their name, first name or something next to their user ID. Because some people may not do, you know, may not take their name out, but also may not be
Active, right?
Any action in any way. So,
absolutely. So, and we might want to do something like put a link in for ourselves. Where we, you know, I could take my LinkedIn profile, which is not really up to date, and just take, oh, what is this? Take this URL and stick it in my, stick a link in here so that people can find something out about me. Now, what I put in here was I commit to 10 hours a week. I'll probably put in a lot more, but that's my commitment, is 10 hours a week. So I think that's a great idea. Those people who identify themselves in here, now I identify Tim and Nathan, but I assume they want to be directors and myself.
I prefer just team members, really, because directors, well, I think.
You were saying the initial directors are team members. Okay, so we're talking, you know, it's just semantics at this point.
Well, I noticed that.
But it's not. I mean, director, I mean, I'm just going to say something here.
Yeah,
director definitely has like a connotation to it that's like, I'm directing you, you're doing what I say is okay. Versus a team member is like, hey, we're all in this together, we're threaded as a group, and we're going to freaking do it.
Okay, I can see that, but the thing is that what what most organizations, and I've been dealing with collaborative systems for 40 years, okay, lack direction. They don't have a direction, okay? And the reason they don't have a direction is because they don't have directors, they don't have leaders. Now, we can use circular leadership strategies, and the directors ultimately report to the members and are seated or dethroned by the members. They're representatives of the members. And now, when we're setting up, it's a little different. Okay, when we're setting up, there's we don't have members. We are the members. So you know, we are choosing each other.
Yeah, that's what I was saying is that probably ultimately it'll make sense to have a board of directors that is elected by the broader membership, but that right now the more appropriate structure is to think of us as more as team members. So I think we're actually agreeing on this. We're just talking about the two different stages between the kind of startup phase we're in right now and the aspirational phase that we're going to.
This is the snowdrift thing, and what they say right in the beginning. This is snowdrift directly from the snowdrift bylaws. Okay, they're talking about setting putting the initial board of directors in place. Okay, and that's why this is here. Okay, because we want to get whatever we call them. We want to get them in place, and they will be in the articles of incorporation when we form a co-op, possibly. Okay, so I guess if somebody doesn't want to be included,
I think that's a later stage that we're moving to, and I think I don't think it's something that we need to be spending our time focusing on right now. I've just created tasks in the recon for drafting a simple operating agreement for right now that we can all agree on. That's very simple and participatory, and then also drafting aspirational bylaws for the co-op that would probably have this kind of board structure. But I don't think it makes sense for us on leadership of the board before we define that board in bylaws. So I think we should move on from this right now.
Yes, I think we are in agreement there. We're going to start with the and maybe we don't have to worry about the bylaws yet. I probably shouldn't spend so much time on it, but we do need at some point to come up with that. We have two proposals here for the initial one here put in by Tim with the terms here. Okay, please go into here, respond to my comments, suggest changes. Okay, this is a cooperative effort to come up with these. This is Tim's version. And now we have down here, we have Radu's versions. Okay, and there's no comments on it yet. I guess I'll need to talk to Radu more. I think most of this stuff is included above. But if you can look at the two versions, make the changes and comments that you think are necessary, then by next week at this time, we should have it done, if not before. We can have a vote on it in Lumio once we have, if we find agreement. The other thing is that for a lot of these things we're doing, we want to have a few people on a team working on it, reporting to the group. We don't want to necessarily, we want somebody to be accountable for it. One of the big problems in groups is because everybody's responsible, nobody takes responsibility, and the stuff doesn't get done, which is why in the Kanban here, if there's nobody's picture next to a task here, it's not anything we're doing because nobody has taken any responsibility for it. If there's not two people, it may not be a group thing. It may be an individual thing.
Okay, that sounds good. I just want to, Elise has been on the call and we haven't heard from her. I see she's on the dock. I wonder if she has any reflections on this?
Any what? Any objections? What?
Yeah, I'm wondering if Elise has any reflections on this conversation, or what has anything to add since we haven't heard from her.
I don't understand what Nathan is saying. It's so much static.
She says she doesn't have a microphone right now, and he was just asking if Elise has anything to say. She says she's not objecting. She's happy with the conversation and how it's moving along. In chat.
Thank you.
This is Michael. I was like, I'm involved with Snowdrift. I've been for about a year, and just to make sure everyone's clear that it's very much it's in kind of early stages itself. I mean, it's been working on getting going for quite a while, but it's certainly, it might be good to also look at more established co-ops and how they're set up, because Snowdrift, there's a lot of great thought that's gone into it, and much of which, most of which I wasn't involved in, and maybe I'm not even familiar with, but it is still kind of ideas that haven't actually, to a large extent, gone into practice yet.
Well, and also, when we incorporate, I mean, we want to be flexible initially. We know it's going to evolve. We want to put something in place so that we have something to refer to and talk about and change if necessary. Okay, it doesn't have to be set in stone. We have to see if it has, if there's anything we want to change or add. Okay, now the term lengths and limits that they have, I have no problem with them. Okay, it's all in here. The qualifications, I haven't read it all, but they seem to have covered most of the bases here. That is in every co-op. I mean, I've been working on the R-Chain co-op bylaws for the last month or so, although I haven't been involved that much, but just as a reviewer and suggester, go through, we don't, as you were saying before, we don't need formal bylaws today. What we need today is agreement on either the basic modified version of Tim's proposal here, and maybe I should put Tim's proposal here so we know what it is.
Jim, my proposal was really just a starting point. I sort of have a updated one based on considering Radu's points and having looked at Snowdrift. So okay. I should get that in there.
Yeah.
And then, also, I see in the chat that Marco wanted to make some comments. So Marco, do you want to comment? You're on mute, by the way. Marco, are you hearing? You're on mute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, hello everybody, and thank you for inviting me in this venture. Right now, I am still studying, when possible, everything that you have produced and discussed in before I joined. So I am catching up, so to speak. And the things I wanted to say and share right now are that, first of all, I am still not sure if being a director is the best position for me. I want to help, I want to participate, but I'm still trying to figure this out. I have already explained why on in some Lomio thread, but so I'm leaving that on hold for now. If my contribution can be as can also be as director, so to speak. But right now, but the main thing I wanted to share on this point is that, as you maybe already know, I am a member of the Free Knowledge Institute. You can see I'm typing our website in the chat right now, so you can have a look at who we are, what we are doing these days. Okay, there it is. And the reason why I'm telling this to you is that the Free Knowledge Institute is working with some groups and co-ops in Barcelona to do something very similar to what you are discussing. So one way in which I can and won't surely participate in this is to share as much as possible what we are doing, how we are doing it, so we can share some of the work and on all the information on how to use sandstorms and so on, because I think that this would be very beneficial to both of us. To both the project, let's call them projects, and so this is something that I commit to do, regardless of the form that it takes, and that is act as a connection and between this group and the people in Barcelona, because I think we have to learn and to share from each other, because again we were already testing how to do collaborative work in a private cloud with Sandstorm. So I think I'm convinced that we have much to share on that side. And the last thing I wanted to say for now, but of course if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask, is that I see as an essential feature of these systems. It's not something that has to be in there from day one, of course, but I do think it is essential to make them succeed, is a federation between different platforms. By this I mean that imagine that we who are talking right now create this platform, collaborative cloud, and we work together using it. Okay, that's great, and so we set rules, procedures, and so on. Now imagine that I do the same, but of course that may be any of you. I do the same also with this other group in Barcelona, or maybe in parallel with a third group in Rome, where I live. Now, what I mean by federation is that there must be a way for a person that is present in several of those clouds to use just one account, even if these are all independent clouds, software-wise, 3 different servers and so on, and to use one of those accounts as master account and unique interface for all the others. Meaning that if I am working with you on certain projects, with the people in Barcelona on other projects and so on, I must be able to have all my pending tasks, for example, from all these clouds appear all in one window. Otherwise, I cannot keep up. And this is how, in my opinion, a project like this can scale. Not by growing in size, but in interoperability and in interconnections. So I think that this is a crucial feature that has to be added to these clouds at some point. So, this is everything I wanted to share for now. Thanks.
Yeah, scaling Sandstorm so that we can have different, so that you can be in many different Sandstorms systems and have all your tasks on one page is not something we're going to be able to do immediately. It's definitely something that should be on our roadmap.
Yes.
But it is going to be a problem. It's not designed for that yet. And we're getting more and more decentralized, but we're not there yet. And that's our objective, is to become decentralized completely.
Okay. So several people, including myself, need to start getting off. We've been going an hour and a half. And, you know, even though this is, you know, we've put a lot of things out here and we haven't come to a whole lot of final decisions, I think it's really helpful to continue this conversation, and we'll be continuing this in Lumio, maybe moving more to the Sandstorm tools. It seems like people are taking to those, and we'll continue a bunch of these different threads. Let's try to wrap up in the next minute or two. But if anybody has if that's all right, at least I'll have to leave, and Chelsea and Michael. So does anybody have a very, very quick one-sentence thought that they want to conclude with?
Yeah, I just want to throw in to keep in mind important items are any fundraising or crowdfunding plan, and also what's the next step or plan on MVP. Just want to underline those items.
Great. We'll keep those conversations going. It might be useful to start threads there. One quick question I have just a popcorn is, do we want to keep using Lumio, or do we want to pivot out to all the Sandstorm tools? Or do we want to use both?
What's been successful in the past, and we use Slack as our primary communication means, and then well, people were free to put things on Lumio, and then put a link to the thread in the appropriate channel in the Rocket Chat with,
Okay.
And it worked out well, and not everybody will work the same way exactly. It's give people choices and let them participate in the medium that they feel most comfortable in, and we have to make allowances. I prefer. I have a really hard time.
Okay, well that sounds good. Let's try to keep this concise. It seems like that's where things are moving. So using Rocket Chat heavily and Lumio as a decision-making tool when necessary.
What about the project management tool in Sandstorm? I'm down to use that.
Yeah, we would use that in conjunction with those as well. Yeah.
Yay.
Okay. Thank you all so much for this conversation. It's really good to see you face to face. Let's get going on these different projects and work on kind of formalizing some of these conversations that we've been having. But I think we're moving forward really beautifully. And the more we do, the more these things will come together.
Tim, I have a question for Tim.
Yeah.
Do you think we can get together on a Hangout or Zoom or something? I don't have to talk tomorrow evening, maybe not, but over the weekend.
Sure.
On a more step-by-step business plan or something.
Sure. Okay. Business plan or bylaws or both?
To me, business plan is more important. What we need to do. The bylaws in a year from now, they are still okay.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, sure. Sure. Let's.
Yeah. I'm working on a proposal for the cryptocurrency and the returning value to sponsors and members based on the cryptocurrency. So we could potentially go over that at the same time. I'll be putting more information online on that.
Okay, great.
If you have some time, I can introduce that now with who's still on here, unless somebody wants to do something else.
I have to take off.
All right. So I will, does anybody have any other topics? I will, otherwise I'll go over the CoCoin direction, get some feedback.
Jim, I am interested in that topic very much, but I have to cut out now. So maybe I can catch up with you on that.
We're going to meet over the weekend then?
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, and I just posted a little note that this was recorded. So we should have mentioned this earlier and just make sure that no one has any objection to that or to it being posted. But Jim, I think you set it up, and so you would be the one to know how to post the recording. And that's mainly just for sort of reference or anyone who missed the meeting.
Well, I'll be putting it in our Google Documents Drive folder.
Yeah, mention it on Lumio and Rocket Chat too, because I want to make sure we don't. I don't know. I don't think everyone is paying attention everywhere. So
right. Yeah, I'll put a link to the
yeah,
video.
Great.
All right. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
All right. I guess probably should get for dinner. I guess we can use the message planner to plan the message over the weekend. You want to do that, Radu, or should we do it right now? Why don't we do that right now? Usually in Divi, and this is a long meeting, is we have a working session at the end of the meeting.
What is that planner?
Okay, the planner is the
it's on. Okay, well, so on the.
I guess we probably have to add another app.
There was a calendar. I don't know that Nathan put this kind of question meeting.
Yeah, no, we had the meeting date picker, okay, which we used to pick the time for this meeting.
Okay.
Okay, so what we want to do is we want to set one up for the meeting that's coming up this weekend.
Okay. Do you want to set it up now, or do you want me to go in there and set it up?
Well, if we can go through it together right now, or if you want to do it on your own, that's fine. If you need help, if you have any
No, I
problems.
said probably I'll figure out what I need to do there. Right? I just have to log in right now. I'm just looking at what's your screen.
Well, I think what you have to do is add another one. So we have we can look up date here. I can't remember what oh, no. Wrong place. Okay, that's the apps that are installed. I have to hit add an app first with the plus sign. Then I can put in date and oops. Planner. Frame a date. Pick.
It's something.
Time, pick a poll. Okay. So this is this frame a date. I guess it was the app they used.
But I thought it already was installed there.
Well, it looks like just one instance of it was installed for the one thing.
Okay.
Okay. So, and now when I hit install now I get this menu. I couldn't find out how to get that menu.
Oh, okay. But now if I go there, I'll find the same. So that's installed on the Sandstorm, so everybody can access it. Yes.
Yeah, not yet. Okay. We have to make it first, and then we have to add it to the collection of cloud apps. So what's the poll title?
Weekend meeting, I don't know, or the day, whatever.
Why does it say poll title? How do I cancel?
Why you don't enter something there?
I think maybe I did the wrong. I think maybe I did the wrong thing.
Frame date.
I can't.
Oh, because it's not a.
It looks like I'm making a poll rather than a date. Poll, weekend meeting, week and meeting. Okay, and then the description is discussion of what?
To me, it's a business plan. Really, what steps do we need to take to create some business plan for short? We need some areas of activity divided, and then people should start acting on them. Funding that the team mentioned, crowdfunding, it's one aspect, or there are many things. Product development, that will be where you are the star. But you've been involved in so many things. I don't have much time in general, but I like to learn more about those co-ops that you are involved with. Really, we'll chat.
Which ones? The product income. Okay, so
no product income, product development.
Product development.
Marketing plan, if you want, or market research. You don't have to put a lot in there.
Okay, well, we'll just try to give
something, yeah.
Put it better.
That's always a good choice.
Okay, now we have to choose our
the dates, yeah.
The dates.
The dates first, I guess. Yeah, there. Probably you can click on the calendar and it picks for you, huh?
Yeah, this is not quite as easy to set up as Doodle. Doodle's very similar, but it's not a open source solution. So that would be the 28th or the 29th, right? So
both, yeah, both 28, 29.
So 01 28 slash
17. 2000. Okay.
17. Okay, and
We are limited to the number of times.
I have a morning meeting, so
whenever you are available.
So we could try at noon, 12. We could try at what do you suggest? Any suggestions? What time zones do we need to include here?
For time zone. We need a time zone. For me, later is better. You can put for what? 16 is good, yeah.
And then
18.
18.
18 is 6 o'clock for us. For the guys in the East Coast, it's like 9. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay, and then we have 01 slash 29
yeah.
slash 2017 tab, and we'll make it the same times, or should we make it different?
Whatever.
10.
Yeah, I can put more times on Sunday if you prefer.
14.
We can add times if there is more needed.
Okay, well, we can see if there's a problem, then we can add a time.
Yes, sure.
It looks like it only lets us choose 3 times in a day. Oh, I guess we can hit plus.
Yeah, from there you can add more, yes.
Okay, so then we do next. What's this, Monday, Wednesday?
You know, April. It's in the European format. Try to click on the calendar. Maybe you can pick the day that way. I mean, you can change it now, but I'm curious, if you click the calendar, you cannot go and click on the calendar to select the date.
Oh.
And click on the date.
I don't have my glasses on. I didn't see that was a calendar.
Down. I can guide you. Go. Oh, it's April. Oh, I have my glasses and I still don't see. Up. You can go up. No, not there. Not there. You are at the end of February. Go one more month. Go to January. Yes, there. And now pick up 28. Yes, that's it. You see, Americans are always different. You are in May. No. You are in May. Have to go. Yeah, the same way. Once more, and down the. And I lost it. Oh, you are here. Yeah.
It's just off.
Or you can type it in. I guess it's 29.
Yeah. Let me just get rid of this thing.
29.
On this screen, sometimes I have to hit Control minus to make everything smaller so it fits on the screen.
Yes.
Okay, so now we do next.
That's I don't understand people that like these mobile devices with the screen is so small. I mean,
yeah, I don't understand it either. I got this bigger laptop. I had a netbook before, but the screen resolution is the same. It didn't help. Create the poll. Okay. Yeah. Okay, weekend meeting. And so I can put Jim, and I click all of these. Because
does it say somewhere that it's Easter? We should.
Oh.
Probably can we add the description? Can you edit the description?
Yeah, to see how to do that.
Add a comment in the poll, huh? Yep, add a comment to the poll. This is Eastern, hours are Eastern time.
Okay, and I guess when I publish the poll, I should do it. Okay, so frame a date. Okay, we can now we have a poll. We can hit share access up here, get a shareable link, can submit, edit and remove responses, can submit. Okay, create, copy the link. And well, actually, I don't have to copy the link. Well, I do have to copy the link for the so we go into the Rocket chat and we put in the link. But I should put the description for. Oh, I don't need to put a link in here. What am I thinking? By the way, the way that you put things in here is you the way that you put things in here is you hit this little plus sign here, and it has no title. I got to go back and give it a title. Whatever. Okay. Now I go back to Rocket Chat. Now I can say plus. Now I can say weekend business meeting planner, and I can connect it. So that with responder permissions, or should I give everyone edit permissions? I guess it's a trust network. I can give everyone admin, then anybody can modify the description or whatever.
Okay.
So now they just click on this. Sign up for weekend. Sign up times you can make
this Rocket Chat, does it send you the emails of the discussions, or there is a setting that you need to do, or?
One of the problems is we don't have email addresses. Most of us don't have email addresses registered.
In here.
So we have to go. If we want to get emails, we have to go into our setting, our account
setting, and add it in there.
Edit. Okay, and then you can times are EST. Okay, And then it has to go into Lumio also. And that's something we have to deal with for now. Having both forums. And I guess there's ways of choosing your alerts and how your notifications are set. I know I get desktop notifications.
Okay.
I think if you, under here, okay, I don't know why I forget where they are, but there's notifications in here somewhere. Okay, here's where you get you get to set all your alerts in here.
Okay. So.
Okay, and we can.
Okay, we'll chat a bit more over the weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to go. My wife is waiting for me.
Very good.
Thank you.
Right. See you this weekend.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Bye bye.